My name is Carmen, and today we have a reading for you about somebody who is apparently looking for information. Now, maybe we actually have a veritable spy here who gets paid, but we could also just have somebody who's very interested in investigating or getting the tea. But we have someone who feels like they have started like a giant bulletin board of tracking people. So either someone is very much so obsessed with the idea of getting all of the gossip on all of the people, or we've got someone who does this for a job. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chanting, or a lot. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Hello, Lemonade. Hello, Aya. How are we doing? If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member, as well as how to find my candles on Etsy. Let's dive in. We're going to go with the Graffiti Tarot. So on the spy card, it says Seeker of Secrets, Intelligence Agent, Covert, Espionage, Undercover. And underneath the Architect card, it says Weaver of Blueprints, Planning, Design, Supervision, and Construction. So someone who had an understanding of the bigger picture. All right, what else do we have? Hello, Dana. Hello, Joaquin. How are we doing? Hello, Hooks. We've got the Queen of Wands and the Star in the reverse. Emperor in the reverse. This is someone who is misjudged often as not having any power or being relatively mediocre or normal. This is not somebody who stands out or is particularly memorable when you see them. Aw, thank you, Aya. I appreciate you. Let me know if you'd like me to pull a few cards for you after the general reading. Happy to do so. Hello, Nathaniel. How are you doing? What else do we have? Death in the reverse. Page of Swords in the reverse. And the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. Okay. This feels to me like Winston Churchill's quote, which may have actually been quoting Mark Twain. The rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Which is kind of funny, right? Hello, Cozy Cat. How are you doing? Hello, Angel. I don't know. Is this really what I think it is? I kind of feel like we have somebody who's like letting go of a life or a persona, picking up, moving to a different country, using different documents. I mean, it does talk about spy. We could have somebody who's like an online sleuth, or somebody who, you know, is not opposed to using other people's IDs. This is interesting. Ten of Wands in the reverse. What else? And the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So we have someone who's like in too deep. They didn't realize who they were dealing with, or they felt like they were in control and now they don't feel like they're in control. So this really does feel like somebody just picked up, left, started a new life elsewhere because they knew that they were persona non grata with someone, or that they had, you know, basically been told, don't come back to this town. I'm seeing the bigger dude from The Professional that John Reno's character like sneaks up on in a hotel room. It's like that. So, you know, you can change everything, you can leave, but don't come back here. Hanged Man in the reverse. love a couple cards. No question. Okay, I got you, Aya. Awesome. And hello, Iveston. How are you doing? Hello, Nevaeh. Happy birthday. Hey, Angel. Please don't tell people what they need to do with their religious beliefs. We support religious tolerance on my channel. You're welcome to stay around if you can be more respectful of others' beliefs. Otherwise, I would encourage you to find a different channel. Hello, James. How are you doing? So we've got 6 of Cups in the reverse. And the Chariot in the reverse. You can't go home. You can't call the same place home. I think this is someone who fled or moved to a different country and under a different name. This is kind of wild. Unexpectedly felt like they had to, you know, get a bag and leave. I might only have 2 pairs of pants, but that's okay. I'll have to make that work, you know? Empress and the Queen of Swords. This feels like we've got someone who upset the person in charge. So if I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything, the person who knows everything, the architect, I feel like this is who the spy is hiding from. All right, oops. Let's see what else we have. I feel like we gotta go with the, hold on, let me see. I think it's Magicians, Murders. Yes, Magicians, Murders, and Madmen. It's true. Hello, Albert. How are you doing? What else? Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. So the thing with this particular tarot deck is that it's like a little historical lesson with each card. On the Page of Pentacles, we have Samuel Liddell McGregor Mathers. I'm just going to say a trigger warning because it's called Magicians, Martyrs, and Madmen. So, you know, some of these people are not like known for their kindness. All right, where are you? There we are. So Mathers was a ritual magician and author who founded the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a magical fraternity at the turn of the century. Mathers joined the Masons in 1877 and befriended British occultist Kenneth Mackenzie, who introduced him to ritual magic. He left the Masons to focus on studying the Kabbalah, I hope I said that right, and finding practical uses for its rituals. Mathers translated and published many occult manuscripts, including The Kabbalah Unveiled. Although he never sought publicity or fame in his involvement with the other occultists of the time, including Aleister Crowley, caused tremendous friction in the Golden Dawn, and he eventually left to start his own temple, the Alpha et Omega. So this represents study, scholarship, and reflection, and potentially a person who's delivering a message. So if we're talking about study, this could be someone who has really figured out what the entire network is. Almost lost the book. Because this is still making me feel like we've got somebody who's trying to solve a mystery, try to figure out who's really causing the trouble here. All right, let's see what our Knight of Cups card is. This is Martin Osolato. I'm hopeful I'm saying that as well correctly. Martin was a skilled Aztec sorcerer and businessman who predicted the arrival of the Spaniards to Montezuma II. He continued practicing divination and healing during the Spanish occupation and became extremely wealthy with numerous estates of his own. He was pressured to convert to Christianity and subsequently told to stop giving prophecies, which were considered a form of heresy. An inquisitor from Spain had him arrested and sentenced to exile in 1537, but the ship he was on disappeared at sea and he was never heard from again. It took the Inquisition over a year to find and inventory Martin's vast fortune in property, gold, and other goods. So there's Martin again. So we have people who are working together, leveraging the information that they acquire, studying particular people or connections, maybe businesses. And we've got someone who, the Empress here, this is the Knight of Cups, someone who has particularly strong intuition or even some psychic gift. I feel like this is the kind of person you can't lie to, and as such, there are a lot of people that are fearful. All right, let's go with some, what's the news? What else do we have? Hello, Erkin, how you doing? That was a pretty good show. I didn't watch all of it. Hello, Joshua. I will eventually, Lemonade, don't worry. Ooh, did I miss another one? Okay. Hello, Bingo. Hello, Baby Yoda. How are you doing? Hello, Lee. Thank you for the tip. Of course. I hope you're enjoying your lunch break. All right, what else do we have? Numbing, self-medicating, addictions, irrational behavior, long haul, in it to win it, long-term intentions, invested. That's what I kept getting with this Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. It's like I've put too much into this to walk away. I'm picturing the guy from Memento, Guy Pearce, which could indicate that we have someone who is a bit obsessive or struggling to focus on anything else. I have to solve this mystery, takes me to various places, maybe, you know, introduces me to people I don't really know. But this is someone who's on a mission, trying to figure out what's going on. Knocked up, pregnancy, expecting, and mothering. Red flagged, warning signs, take heed, risky situation. So it looks to me like we have somebody who's realizing they have to change from their life that may not have necessarily been aligned with legal requirements. Because they're starting a family. What else? Doing the research, learning more, gaining insight, and lift off. Fast action, progression forward, the wait is over, tiptoeing, avoiding getting caught, acting shady, sneaking around. So we have someone who's realizing I have different priorities. I want to start this family with someone. I can no longer be a spy. I can no longer, you know, be a part of this situation. I'm gonna have to focus elsewhere and maybe leave. It was wild. Hello, Matt, how are you doing? There is a concern over time, which is kind of interesting as far as my seeing the movie Memento, because if you recall, it was a story told backwards, which, I don't know, man, now I'm going to have to watch that again. It's been a while. What do we want? I think we want the Star Trek Tarot. What else do we have? Ten of starships or 10 of cups in the reverse. Seven of batlets or 7 of swords in the reverse, and the king of cloaks. The king of cloaks would be the king of wands. I think we have somebody who's going to unfamiliar territory with the 10 of cups in the reverse. This is like where no man has gone before, right? Or rather, where I have never gone before. 7 of swords in the reverse, king of cloaks. I think because somebody knows who I am. Because someone's discovered me, or because I can no longer do what I've been doing. I think this is, the King of Wands feels that the Empress is onto them, knows who they are, so they need to leave. Seven of Wands, or 7 of Cloaks, and the Queen of Cloaks. Yeah. After a life of isolation or being on their own, this is someone who feels like they have another person that they need to be protective towards. That sounds good. What else? The Chariot and the Page of Cups or Page of Starships. I feel like this Empress, who you cannot lie to, who knows a lot, is investigating, looking, could be associated with law enforcement. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and I feel like they're looking for the King of Wands. The King of Wands is like, I don't really want them to find me, so let's make this difficult. Where would they never expect me to go? Where is a place that they would never look because it's undesirable or it has no connection to me? Hello, James. How you doing? Ooh, happy birthday, Carrie. I hope you're having a good day. The Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. The World in the reverse. The Moon in the reverse. Okay, I can't help it, you guys. I have to compare this to Twilight. Sorry. But we have somebody who has, I believe, a child on the way or wants to start a family with the king or the Queen of Wands, and they are the King of Wands, or they feel like this person is the most important person in their life, and they want to make sure that this Queen of Wands is protected. They feel like there is reason for this Empress to be looking their direction. Could be an investigator. And if they don't leave soon, then they will be out of options. They won't have any tricks up their sleeve or anything that they could potentially do to avoid the wrath of this Empress, I guess. I can't decide if this Empress is good or bad. We got the King of Cups. I don't know. Sometimes we get a little bit too focused on trying to figure out who is good and who is bad, when in reality, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their good moments. I'm hearing Tove Lo's Moments, I think is what the name of the song is. I think I'm supposed to say her name, Tulu, which is actually way cooler. But just so you know who I'm talking about. I'm glad to hear that, Albert. Oh, I hope that goes well. And thank you, Nevaeh. So we've got the High Priestess in the reverse, the Knight of Cups, and the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Like, I gotta escape this. Like, I gotta stay 2 steps ahead because they're on my trail. They know that it was me, or they know that I'm a liability. They know that I'm gonna say something about what I've discovered. I feel this is someone who knows information that they were not supposed to know. Like, if you were looking for a receipt and instead you found, like, you know, someone's confessions or journal, and you're like, I know I shouldn't, but I'm very curious. This is someone who's like, you read my journal. Like, how could you? Knight of Swords in the reverse. Did I mention that this is for entertainment purposes only? Because it is. Knight of Swords in the reverse, Ten of Swords, and the Fool. Impulsive departure, starting a new life, letting go of things that maybe you weren't really ready to let go of, but you know you have to. This is like, how quickly can you pack everything you need for the next 6 months? Like, if I give you 15 minutes, are you good? No, that would help me with my makeup and shoes, but okay, maybe just my shoes. Just kidding. We've got the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse and the Queen of Wands. Like, priorities have shifted. This spy doesn't care maybe about that responsibility anymore. They've stopped caring about getting everybody's information or collecting as much as they could, because now they want to invest in a connection with this Queen of Wands. Okay, but like, also, did you do stuff you shouldn't have? Just asking for science. Oh, happy birthday, Nevaeh. Hello, Sarah. How are you doing? This is like, I don't like you. I'm gonna kick you out of my town. If you've ever seen the originals, there was a battle for New Orleans, I believe, between, you know, witches, werewolves, vampires. I don't think there was a unicorn sect, but, you know, maybe. 3 Cups in the reverse. You ain't welcome here. Seat's taken. Why are you here? Be gone. So get out of the town, but also this High Priestess wants to talk to you. Wants to know what's going on. That seems like conflicting information. Tower in the reverse. It's because you know what the Empress has been doing. Yes, the Empress is an investigator and they could be associated with law enforcement, but this is someone who's worried that a secret that was supposed to not get discovered has been discovered by someone who is like below them. Like, you weren't supposed to look in that file. You weren't supposed to look in that closet. That's where I had all my skeletons. So the Empress wants to find the King of Wands in order to prevent information that the King of Wands discovered in probably their regular line of work. Like, I have to make sure that you don't tell anybody this. Well, this is a little creepy, guys. And the King of Wands wants to protect the Queen of Wands. Hanged Man in the reverse, the Lovers, Queen of Cups in the reverse, and the Four of Swords in the reverse. So the King of Wands looks at this as, since I have this information, or since I have like stumbled upon this, I'm pretty sure I need to like not talk to anybody. Here are the 2 people who need to flee. King and Queen of Wands. And the Empress is this Queen of Cups in the reverse who's like, I mean, what are we gonna do? Like, delete that part of your memory? You found out something and you shouldn't have. Now people don't like you. Or now you know that I'm corrupt, perhaps. There's definitely some mask here with the Empress. I mean, this is the card that I keep looking at throughout this entire reading because it's not exactly one that makes you feel like all lovey-dovey, right? This is the Path of Shadows. Hello, Tom. Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. Hello, Grindhard. How you doing today? What else do we have? Boogeyman. As life unfolds and shadow overpowers light, will my innocence be left untouched? Yeah, okay. So I do think I am Team King of Wands or Team Spy. And that the Empress is someone who's hiding who they really are from others. And this King of Wands is like, oh, accidentally I found the boogeyman. I was not looking for the boogeyman, but I did in fact find the boogeyman's address. We could arrest him right meow. Skull, transcendence, intuition, and power. But it threatens this Empress who is in a position of power. Grim Reaper. In the realm of twilight where shadows converge, the Grim Reaper's scythe guides souls to the verge. This Empress doesn't want to admit that there's a shift happening, perhaps involving a loss of power or control over the situation. Pumpkin Patch. You will only taste the sour if you don't seek for the sweet. Share your fruits wisely, lest you sow regrets too deep. Personal growth, transformation, letting go. Okay. So in order to remove themselves from this Empress's like backyard or their sphere, this King of Wands and their Queen of Wands, does not have to be a man and a woman, are leaving. You know, how do you feel about Belize? How do you feel about Sweden? Let's go. It has to be somewhere they don't expect me to go. All right, what else do I need? I'm kind of hesitant, but I feel like I need to. All right, this is the True Crime Oracle. And then after this, we will do our personal questions. Hey, Skimmy, how are you doing? You're good. Spouse or partner. Tunnel. And I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Driggs, but with a U. And Schmishmoisen. Poison. Wow. Okay. I'm feeling a little creeped out here, you guys. I think this is someone realizing that the Empress has been a partner to someone who has been, like, that they are an architect or a partner of the architect that they have been researching. Like, you have ties to what is considered worth looking into, but perhaps you were put there to make sure that nobody ever really figured out what was going on. So this person gets lost doing research, figuring out what's really going on, and they realize that this Empress is corrupt. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys know what that word is if I cover up the first couple letters? Speaking of cover up. So the King of Wands knows what actually happened, and this Empress is upset. If you know, then you could potentially make it seem or make it worse for everybody else. Sorry, I just have to pull a few from the Kipper to see if we've got the adjudication or the imprisonment card coming out. Did I say hello to Key Controller? Hello, Chris. How we doing? Did I say hello to Joshua Tree? I think I did. What else? House. Coffin. Privileged lady. Yeah, someone died. And now communications have been discovered that helped the King of Wands put 2 and 2 together or figure out who's responsible and who is it. It's the Empress, or the Empress is closely associated. Does not have to be a woman, but this is someone who's presenting to everybody else like everything is great, but they are close to the problem. They're involved. All right, I'm gonna have to take a shower after that one. You might want to do the same, or just, you know, sage or something. But we're going to switch over to the personal questions. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing? Oh, you too, Chris. All right, what do we have for Aya, please? What do we have for Aya? Nine of Wands, 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. This feels like someone being a bit defensive or trying to remain positive regarding a work situation. Feeling like there's been a failure or like there's really nothing that can change the current circumstances. But there are brighter days ahead. So if this is like, you know, a layoff, then you find something better. If this is a not so great boss taking over the team, maybe they get quickly like rerouted to a different department. This is like this too shall pass. Try to keep your thoughts positive. 10 of Wands is something that's about to be over. This is like someone who's missed the mark. Someone who felt like things were going to go great. Have you ever been at a wedding and someone is giving a speech at the reception and they just like totally suck at it? Who told you you could do this? Yeah, you suck. I'm not gonna do that out loud. But sometimes when you're at weddings, there are people who are given the microphone who don't really know what to do with it. They're like, what? And sometimes people will tell a joke and nobody laughs at it, right? I could say the same about comedians. This is someone who called things wrong and it alters your situation when it's exposed to have been wrong. So I feel like things get better or get resolved in a way you didn't anticipate. I hope that makes sense. Hello, Louise. How are you doing? Let's see what we've got for Lee. This is the Jack-O-Lantern Tarot. What else do we have? Nope. Let me be more intentional. What do we have for Lee, please? Page of Cups, Page of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Is this communication regarding family? Yeah, communication regarding someone you consider family, going through a loss. This person could be dealing with legal issues. This person has some issues in terms of maturity or acting their age. Why the Emperor? Someone you consider family has messed with the wrong person. This is like, it's like if you're driving on the highway and you decide your best move is to horribly cut off a state trooper. Like, why don't you just wave a flag from your car that says, pull me over, please? This is someone who walked right into it, you know? I remember a buddy, this is not my story, but I remember it clearly. I remember a buddy telling me that when he was like 19 and therefore not legally of age to be drinking in the United States, had been drinking some really cheap and like watered down beer in a park or like in his front yard or something, and the cops were rolling through the neighborhood. And he thought it was funny to throw a beer can at the cop car. Like, you're already committing a crime by drinking when you're not supposed to. Maybe if it's on private property, it's not like as big of a deal. But they ended up having to talk to the cops. And I do believe it was a stern talking to, but I don't think anyone got arrested. This is someone who walks into trouble because of their mouth. And if they learn to be a little bit quiet more often, I don't think they would run into so many issues. I can judge on that because I have had that problem. So I think you're going to hear about somebody who gets more consequences than they anticipated for a situation where they were kind of acting up. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lee. I might have to look into that. I have to clone myself first. All right. What do we want? We'll go with this one. This is the the Cat's Eye Tarot. Why was I going for that? Luis, I'm sending you healing energy, and I'm going to see what we've got for your wedding. I certainly hope things improve for you. Will the wedding happen for Luis? I feel like it might get, it's like I put up a date for it, or this is when I'm doing it, scratch it off, and put a different one up. I do feel like there's some concern here. Why the Seven of Swords? I don't like that. There's a lot of sadness coming through. Just kind of like, I don't know how I can celebrate something when everything else is difficult. Five of Wands in the reverse. Two of Pentacles. I think this is basically, I don't want to get married until I feel like that stability is managed or feel like things are in a better situation, right? Six of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles. I think the most important thing is how can we focus on the job search, and once that is taken care of, it seems more like, okay, we can manage the other thing, right? So if they focus on the job, yeah, then things change for your wedding. As of right now, no, I don't think you will. If we can put, like, reroute more energy into finding her a job that works for her, then I see things working out in an unusual way. Like, maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not exactly where you wanted it, or a couple people can't make it, but I feel like you're able to do it. Hi, Rachel. How's it going? Hello, Preeti. Hello, Nat Nat. How are you? So there's still time for you to make a change in this path, but you don't have a lot of time for it. So don't let the pressure get to you. You'll figure it out. You're welcome, Louise. All right, where did that go? There we are. I end up like collecting all of the stones from the tops of them. Oh, good luck to Luis and soon-to-be wife. Nat Nat, how's it going? Thank you for the tip. General for March. Let's see. I like the weird cat tarot for you. It's going well, Ruben. How about you? What do we have for Nat Nat in March, please? The Magician. Oh, I like that. Five of Cups and the Tower. You're breaking some... I don't know how else to explain this. It's like there's a layer of film on top of life and it makes things look greasy. Or, you know, if you have glasses, you can't get something wiped off so your vision's impaired. There's something here that's changing. So it might be more so your intuition is being upgraded. Because previously there's a sense of looking backwards or focusing on the past. And in March we have a, you know what? I think I'm done with that. Or we have the positive effect from deciding to change that in February. Knight of Wands, Death, and the Empress. Nat Nat. I like it. You have energy all around you, and it's like, you're like, okay, I have all the energy, and now I'm going to alchemize it or transmute it and make it what I want it to be. And then voila, like it's a costume change. You're like, I'm the Empress. Are you guys ready? Do you see all the stars above my head? I like it. I like it a lot. All right. That means March is going to be a pretty decent month for you. Let's hope February doesn't take too long, right? Ooh, am I going to say that name right? Is it Malachiah? I hope I said that right. If I said it wrong, you can make fun of me. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for checking out my candles, and I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.